Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Well, guys, what is going on? How you doing tonight? This fine Sunday evening. This is the Club of the Man 1993, and I am here, live on YouTube, for my live review of last night's first WWE Premium Live event of the year, Royal Rumble 2025. It took place last night, February 1st, 2025, at Lucas Oil Stadium, home of the Indianapolis Colts, in Indianapolis, Indiana. I also want to apologize if my voice sounds a wee bit hoarse still. My voice is still a little bit shot from those Rumble matches last night. I feel like every year, for the most part, my voice gets very shot from those matches because of, the surprises, the exciting parts, good things that do happen in wrestling. So if I sound a little bit off, I promise it's just my voice a little shot, nothing else. But guys, I'm actually have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder right now, if I'm being honest. I'm a little ticked. Wee bit ticked. Which is why I said in the Twitter and the Instagram post that I may piss some people off tonight. And I'm not going out of my way to disrespect anybody. Not at all. But I came out of this show feeling really good. I mean, yes, there are still some unanswered questions for WrestleMania. No doubt about it. But, despite the fact that it was a 4.5-hour show, I didn't expect this show with 4 matches to be a 4.5-hour show. I really enjoyed this show. I enjoyed all 4 of the matches on the show. Only one of them I would consider maybe a match of the year candidate, and that's that men's, I'm sorry, not the men's Royal Rumble, the ladder match. I would consider a match of the year candidate. Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens once again really knocked it out of the park. We'll talk about that match, of course, when we get to it. And then after the show, when I got home and I started reading some of the results and rumblings on Twitter, there was things that was being said on there that, to preface when I get to it towards the end of the video, to preface it, there's just some things I saw that I'm just like, seriously? Are fans, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody, but are fans really that difficult to satisfy sometimes? Yes, we lived through the Vince McMahon era. And all the times where he obviously didn't listen to us, insulted our intelligence. But then moments like last night, where they do listen to us, give us a swerve and an upset. And yet we're still pissed off and sticking up for somebody that's pissed us off a lot in the past. That's where I kind of go, okay, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Which is why I might be pissing people off tonight. And I'm not going to say it in a disrespectful way, but I'm going to voice my 100% honest opinion about some of the dislike and the backlash, the results for these Rumble matches, especially the men's, is getting on Twitter, on social media in general. And I'm seeing that I heavily disagree with. But again, I'm going to do my best to explain it as in my opinion, but I'm not going to lie, seeing the comments kind of frustrate me. Because they all, to me, sound a little bit fickle. If I'm being 100% honest. I hope I don't lose any friendships from this. I hope that I don't go too far and just kill any momentum I have on my channel. Which isn't much, to be honest. But, we're going to have a fair conversation. And I'm going to let out a little bit of a frustrating thought later on in this show. But with that introduction, we are going to get moving here. We are, of course, going to check, of course, the live chat before we get started. See if anybody is joining us so far. And we just have Tyler so far. And he says, hi, Mike. Why Jey Uso, AJ, or Punk should have won the Rumble? And where was Becky? We will definitely address all of that when we get to it. So, like I said before, it's going to definitely be an interesting stream. Also, by the way, if I forgot to say so, thank you also, everybody, for the amount of views also on my Royal Rumble, the men's Rumble match live reaction I did with myself, Daniel Gaiza, and our other friend, Eddie. He had to leave, of course, during the match, but it's fine. We didn't have as many people hanging out as we thought we were going to last night, but, you know, we still had a great time. That men's match was, of course, great to do live reactions for. So, okay. So we're going to roll in and talk about the show. And just go in order, of course. I know they're not in order on the graphic on the side here, but, you know, just kind of made sense the way I set it up. Well, to me at least, but, you know, it is what it is. I did miss the first couple minutes, though, because I got to Dan's a few minutes late. So the only thing I think I missed was the Stephanie McMahon promo that introduced the show. So I don't know what she said there. I never got back to watch it, but I did hear it sounded a little bit scripted, but, you know, it's not going to, you know, be a hill for me to die on or whatnot. So I'm not going to really worry too much about it. We opened up, though, with the women's Royal Rumble match, as I figured we would. The number 1 and number 2 entrants. Number 1 was Io Sky. Number 2 was Liv Morgan. And actually, instead of Smark Out, I'm going to still use Smark Out. I want to make sure I look up any certain times and whatnot, because it doesn't show it on Smark Out. I mean, obviously, I know, of course, you know, who made history, though, in this women's Rumble match with, actually, I think there was 2 pieces of history that took place in this. 3 pieces of history in this women's Rumble match. I just want to pull this up real quick, because on Wikipedia, they show the times, eliminations, and such for the matches, and if I could get there. Aha, there we go. Okay. We got that. Okay, so Io and Liv started off the match. Of course, that's interesting because Liv has gone from number 2 before to the very end in 2023 with Rhea Ripley, but of course got eliminated and was runner-up. She was runner-up back-to-back years. So he started off as number 1 and 2. Number 3 was Roxanne Perez. Kind of a surprise, but we kind of expected. And Roxanne Perez would go on to be the Iron Woman of this women's Royal Rumble match, making history. Get to that in a second. Number 4 was the Women's Intercontinental Champion, Lyra Valkyria. Number 5 was the Women's United States Champion, Chelsea Green. Number 6 was B-Fab. I think this is her second Rumble. I do remember she appeared in one when she was with Hit Row when they first came back. Number 7 was Ivy Nile. Now, what I liked, an early thing here, I like this Women's Rumble match in the terms of the fact that they did like touch on some moments and some storytelling moments. It didn't just like throw 30 women in there and like nothing like appealing came across. But recently on Raw, they teased a feud for the Women's Intercontinental title with Lyra Valkyria and Ivy Nile. So when Ivy Nile came in, she immediately started targeting Lyra. Number 8 was Zoe Stark. Number 9 from NXT, Lash Legend. I think she was one of the people in that list that I said they should consider putting in this Rumble match. Well, Lash wasn't one of the top picks I had to enter as a surprise, but because they've already given her some main roster TV time, her and Jakara Jackson from Meta 4, I expected they would probably be in this Rumble match. But we just had Lash, not Jakara. We had our first elimination, which was B-Fab, who was eliminated by Chelsea Green. Which, by the way, also, this year they started this whole, like, bottom line thing like they do with, like, ESPN and other things, where they were showing, like, how many were active in the match, how many were eliminated, or the next entrant, and, like, showing stats, like, all across the board on the bottom. I thought that was really cool and a unique touch that they did for this. Nice improvement for sure. I thought it worked very well. I also noticed, I think they did go back to 2 minutes in between each entrance instead of a minute and a half. So that's probably another reason why these Rumble matches were indeed longer, especially the men's. The men's is an hour and 20 minutes. Yowie, for sure. But yeah, so B-Fab was eliminated by Chelsea Green, the first of the women to be eliminated. Number 10 was Bianca Belair, one half of the women's tag team champions. Number 11 was Shayna Baszler. And then during that time, we had our second elimination, and that's when Ivy Nile eliminated Lyra Valkyria. Which I was definitely surprised to see Lyra get eliminated that early. But again, I also was like, okay, I was cool with it because they're teasing a feud between the two of them. I don't think it's going to be a WrestleMania feud, if I'm being honest. I don't see it. I still think Lyra can defend. I think if Lyra does have a feud for WrestleMania, it'll probably be her and Becky, if Becky comes back. We'll talk about that at the end of the Rumble. Becky Lynch did not show up at the Rumble last night. I was surprised, and I'm sure a lot of you guys were as well. But we will, again, talk about it for sure. But yeah, so there was that. That was the second elimination there. Ivy eliminating Lyra. Number 12 was last year's Rumble winner, Bayley. Number 13 was Sonya Deville, so all 3 members of PFC were in there. Number 14 was Maxine Dupree. And I actually like Maxine's entrant because they had her go after Ivy Nile. Well, I think when she walked in there, PFC were about to target her, but then Ivy Nile walked past her and said, "Don't worry, girls, I'll take care of this." And I think for the first time, I gotta say, because I don't think it happened last year, but for the first time that I can think of, Maxine Dupree got her comeuppance on Ivy Nile for when she turned on her and joined American Made last year. So, because Maxine, who had a couple swifter maneuvers, although also, hate to mention this, but they did zoom in very closely on her during her entrance. Was I the only one who didn't know? Only other one who noticed that? I'm sure a couple other people did too, but I was like, I'm married, I can't. Sorry, guys. But, anyways, awkwardness. Moving on. Anyways, sorry. So that I did like that spot with Maxine and Ivy because it's basic storytelling moments. But then Maxine got eliminated by PFC. Number 15 was Naomi, who is technically the fill-in for Jade Cargill as women's champion, women's tag team champion. We had a very interesting moment, though, with Bianca and Naomi a little later on. We'll get to that shortly. But then they were able to, Naomi and Bianca teamed up and eliminated Zoe Stark. And then at the same time, Io Sky eliminated Sonya Deville. And then Bayley eliminated Shayna Baszler. So all three members of PFC were eliminated at the same time on each corner, basically. So the big stable got out of there pretty quickly. Number 16 was also someone from NXT that they should consider putting in this Rumble match is Jada Parker. Good. I definitely think she was someone else to look into also put in the Rumble. Chelsea Green then eliminated Lash Legend. Number 17 was Piper Niven, which Chelsea, of course, waited at the ropes for Piper to get in there, and basically, she basically just fed her to the competition. Basically, she basically said, "Here, go in there," and then as soon as Piper's eyeing him down, Chelsea just walks away. It backfired though, because while on the apron, Chelsea got eliminated when Piper accidentally ran into her on the apron. So I don't know if they're going to start teasing a breakup there or not, but we'll see where that goes. If they do anything with that, or if it was just a fluke accident. But I'm pretty sure Chelsea's going to complain about it on Friday on SmackDown. Number 18 was Natalya. Like Liv Morgan, I believe both of them have now been in every single Women's Rumble match. Number 19 was Jordynne Grace. This is her second Rumble appearance. It looks like she has, in fact, signed with WWE. It looks like it. She was listed as unaffiliated on this Rumble list, and there's heavy rumors. And she also had a post as well with Cody from All In 2018 and today. So it looks like Jordynne Grace has indeed signed with WWE. What brand is she going to be on? I don't know yet. But, of course, we will definitely talk about that, of course, towards the end. I already mentioned my pitch of the idea. Of course, it may not happen. We'll see, though. But here's the interesting spot. I don't know if anybody else noticed. So, as Jordynne Grace got in there and, just did some maneuvers to, hotten up the crowd, get excited for her and whatnot being there, she had a moment with Naomi. And, of course, they're former friends from when Naomi was briefly in TNA as Trinity Fatu. And they hug it out. Well, Bianca went over and kind of broke it up. And then tried to eliminate Jordynne. And she was like, "Naomi, what the heck are you doing? You can't be doing that." When I saw that, I'm like, is that the further tease that Bianca is the one that's turning heel soon? Because I thought about it. The only way I could have seen it being, at this point, Naomi, after I saw that, is if it was Jordynne Grace who attacked Jade Cargill, and Naomi and Jordynne are going to would take the titles off of Bianca and Jade eventually, or something like that. I don't know. But then again, that doesn't quite make sense then, because then why would Bianca feel intimidated by Jordynne's friendship with Naomi? Just a thought I had, but I don't know. But I still think, based off of that, now I'm starting to feel a little more confident it's probably Bianca who attacked Jade. But I do hope they kind of continue playing into that and talk about that, what was that about and such, with how Bianca kind of snapped a little bit on Naomi a little bit right there. But yeah, she came out there. Jordynne would then eliminate Jada Parker. Number 20 was Mia Yim. Number 21, probably one of the biggest pops of the night. And because, of course, I felt a little rushed the other night, when I did my preview, I didn't get to talk about this one, but number 21 was Alexa Bliss, making her return for the first time. I believe the last time we saw her on TV was Royal Rumble 2023 when she fought Bianca for the Raw Women's Championship. So, I didn't get to talk about this, but I didn't think Alexa was coming back. Because there were rumors that she was originally supposed to return on the January 13th episode of Raw. But then apparently that fell through because of some contract issues. But she appeared here. Of course, she seemed to have returned with her former Harley Quinn gimmick. She was wearing like a Bray Forever jacket, and she had Lily. So you would think she's going to SmackDown to join up with the Wyatt Six, right? But for what it sounds like, rumors are she's heading to Raw. But yeah, I was kind of not sure if I feel like I would have rather have her go to SmackDown, be with the Wyatt Six, if she's sticking with this gimmick and not just her regular goddess gimmick. But yeah, I don't know. But it was great to see her back. Huge surprise. Like I said, I didn't think she was coming. Michael Cole didn't even think she was coming back either when he said that. I thought she was coming back. And then Wade Barrett said something like, don't listen to the dirt sheets, Cole. And I think like my wife said that too, because she believed Alexa was coming back. I didn't, after reading that report that things were falling through. But yes, Alexa Bliss came back at number 21. Number 21, I feel like, is always like a surprise spot. Because that's also the spot where Edge came in the 2020 Rumble when he made his return. But yeah, it was good to see Alexa back. Number 22 is Zelina Vega. Number 23 is Candice LeRae. Number 24, Stephanie Vaquer from NXT. And I'm like, yes, that's another one. I think of all the one, that was definitely towards the top of my list, I'd say, for surprises. Stephanie Vaquer was a perfect candidate for me to be in this Rumble match. Like I said, too, in my preview, like, the one thing I felt they should have taken advantage of in this Women's Rumble match, and they did, was definitely get several NXT talent in this match. Because with how hot this women's division is in NXT right now, how stacked it is, I feel like you should really showcase them in this match to get people's attention for the show. And I think that's the reason why I love this Rumble match, because I think they did accomplish that very well. So, she was number 24. Number 25 was a surprise. Trish Stratus came out number 25. So was surprised to see her for sure. Number 26 was Raquel Rodriguez. And then, of course, Liv was still in there. They would then team up and eliminate Natalya. And they also eliminated Alexa Bliss. Yeah, I was kind of bummed to see Alexa Bliss didn't get too far. Although this was her first match in 2 years. But then again, Edge didn't wrestle for 9 years, and so was third place. But whatever. Not gonna argue it. Number 27 was the return of the Queen. Woo! Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair came out at number 27. I was getting worried they're going to do number 30. I'm like, we all know Charlotte's most likely winning this. Don't do her at number 30. Unless you're, like, that big of a surprise. Like, if we already know you're going to be in the Rumble match, don't come out number 30 and win it. Like, that's why I was bothered whenever it happened with Cody 2 years ago. Like, he won number 30, but we knew he was going to be there. So, I was a little bothered by that. But she came out, and she quickly eliminated Mia Yim and Piper Niven. By the way, I did forget to mention, Jordynne Grace had one of my favorite spots in this match also, where she did that Death Valley driver. She did that on Piper. That was sick. Very awesome looking, for sure. Number 28 was the NXT Women's Champion, Julia, which I mentioned in my my preview. She was definitely one I thought they would maybe put into this match, but I wasn't sure if they would, because she just got the NXT Women's title, so it's obvious she wasn't coming to the main roster yet. She's probably going to be champion for a while, so I thought maybe to protect her, maybe not put her in this year's Rumble, but she got in there, had a good highlight performance. Teased, of course, a match with a moment with her and Stephanie Vaquer, but they're still friends. But at some point That's going to be an NXT women's title match on an NXT, and like within probably like by the end of the year or early next year, we would probably see that. But yeah, they teased it, but they're like, we're still friends for now. So, didn't quite get it there. Julia would eliminate Jordynne Grace, which I was a little bummed because I'm like, okay, Jordan was kind of my second pick and the one I preferred to win this match over Charlotte. But, I'm just like, dang it, whatever. Number 29 was Nia Jax. Came in and, did what they would have the big one do. She would eliminate Zelina Vega. Trish Stratus, though, had a run-in with Nia. Before that even started, though, Trish would then eliminate Nia's partner in crime, Candice LeRae. But then after that happened, Nia would then eliminate Trish Stratus. And interesting enough, there seemed to have... The way the angle was, and I think with like a little like post-interview I may have seen her somewhere or whatnot, it was like they were teasing something with Nia Jax and Trish Stratus. That's something you guys want to see? The only reason I could see them maybe doing that is if they would have her fight whichever champion Charlotte doesn't fight at WrestleMania. Which we'll talk about that in a second. But that's the only reason why I could possibly see them maybe doing a brief feud before Mania with Nia Jax and Trish Stratus to fuel Trish up for WrestleMania. But again, we'll talk about that, though, after we get to the end, after everybody else. And then number 30. So I was honestly hoping it was AJ Lee. I really wanted it to be AJ. I wanted it to be so bad. But then, of course, as I got closer and I realized that it wasn't AJ, I'm sorry, that Jade hadn't shown up yet. Becky hadn't shown up yet. No AJ. And a couple others I remember thinking haven't shown up yet. No Lola Vice or Jakara Jackson. No Cora Jade also. I was hoping to see Cora Jade. We didn't see her, though. But then I completely forgot about the rumors. And this is another one I didn't address the other day in my preview. But number 30 was, you can look, but you can't touch. She came out and just like, First off, it's ironic that she appeared when I was hoping it would have been AJ Lee. And we all know they had Nikki Bella break AJ Lee's longest reigning Divas title reign out of spite. But when she came out, I'm like, really? Because I had read rumors that Nikki was possibly coming back. Look, here's my take on it. I know she just recently went through a separation, or I think a full-on divorce with her husband and whatnot. She's been through a lot recently. If this is her way of, coping with it, surrounding herself and getting herself back into something that really makes her happy to kind of help her, recover from what happened with Artem and whatnot, I respect it. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm good. I don't need Nikki Bella on my TV anymore, to be honest. But nothing I can do. She's here. Based off of the post interview also, it looks like she may be sticking around for a bit too. Who she fights, I don't know. She didn't win this Rumble though, thank goodness. I was worried they were going to maybe surprise us with her, but I'm like, no, don't. No. Nikki doesn't need to win the Rumble. No need to. I guess though, after I thought about it, like I said, I don't see her challenging Rhea or Tiffany at WrestleMania. Although, who knows, they could. They could have her win Chamber. Who the heck knows? But no, don't do it. Honestly, based off of her gimmick, what would you think about maybe trying her and Chelsea Green? Chelsea would of course, beat her. But what do you think about that? Chelsea Green, who wanted her gimmick to more so be the last diva fighting one of the original divas for a women's mid-card title. Maybe. Or they could very well do Piper and Chelsea at WrestleMania and Piper turns face. Who knows? But I don't know. That's really the only direction I could really see for Nikki right now. Other than that, I'm just like, there's nothing really I want to see Nikki with Nikki involved. So, like I said, I'm good. But yeah, so Nikki Bella was number 30. And then they had this strange spot where there was a bunch of women just like hanging onto the ring ropes on the apron. And Nia Jax just like rammed into the ropes and knocked like 6 women off the apron at once. Interesting spot, but it's obviously like, even though of course we've seen Nia like dominate Rumbles, of course not win them, but it's like that's the role she has to play. She has to be the big woman who gets the most eliminations, which I believe she broke a record here and got. I think that's the first woman to get 9. Yeah, Nia did get 9. She's only in there for 8 minutes and 13 seconds, but she did get 9 eliminations there. She eliminated in that spot Raquel Rodriguez, Stephanie Vaquer, Naomi, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair. And then right after that, she eliminated Liv Morgan. So there was 6 right there that she just knocked out. And that's, I think, what was that? No, she still had one more. She eliminated Nikki later on because of the final 4. So we had that. And then Julia was still in there, but she got eliminated by Roxanne Perez. So it's kind of like, okay, Roxanne getting one last laugh at Julia, despite the fact that Julia took the title off of her, unless she used that as an excuse for her to get one last shot before she gets called up. Because, yeah, Roxanne was still in there. Remember, she came in number 3. And, of course, Liv Morgan went the distance again, too. Liv was in there for hour. Actually, okay, I didn't realize this, but there were 3 women who were in this Rumble match for over an hour. So technically, all 3 of them each held the record for the longest reign for a few seconds. So when Io got eliminated, she was in there for an hour and 6 minutes and 45 seconds. When Liv got eliminated, she was in there for an hour and 7 minutes on the dot, both breaking Bayley's record from last year. And then we had Bianca and Bayley in there for over 40 minutes. And then Naomi was the one who was in there for over 30. And then Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, and Jordan Grace were ones who were in there for over 20. Stephanie Vaquer came close at 1902, being in there for quite a bit as well. But anyways, we had so after Roxanne eliminates Julia, then Nikki Bella eliminated Bayley. So the final 4 was Nikki Bella, Nia Jax, Charlotte Flair, and Roxanne Perez. When that came up, I'm like, could they maybe have Roxanne pull it off? I was starting to root for Roxanne. And things were seeming kind of hopeful. Because Nia would then eliminate Nikki. And then with kind of some assistance, Nia Jax got eliminated, and it came down to Charlotte Flair and Roxanne Perez. And I'm like, holy smokes. I know Charlotte's probably going to win, but what if they pulled it off and gave it to Roxanne? I really thought they were going to do it. I really thought at first, based off of a couple swings and misses Charlotte had, I thought maybe they were going to do it. But nope. Roxanne got eliminated. Charlotte Flair is the first ever 2-time women's, not champion. She's won more than twice. 2-time women's Royal Rumble winner. She's won both the 2020 and the 2025 women's Rumble match. Roxanne Perez, though, like I said again, there were 3 women who were in there for over an hour. Io again at an hour and 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Liv Morgan at an hour and 7 minutes on the dot. And Roxanne was in there for an hour and 7 minutes and 47 seconds. All of those, well, that is now, of course, the record. Originally, it was Bayley at an hour and 3 minutes last year. But then Io broke that record. Then Liv broke the record, and then Roxanne broke the record. Altogether, I think Liv's probably been in the women's match longer than anyone. Or maybe Bianca. Bianca's had a couple, very long Rumble appearances as well. But yep, as expected, Charlotte Flair does win the women's Rumble match in her return match. Yeah, trust me. Like I said, I think Charlotte Flair is great. I, though, am, again, tired of her getting the spotlight constantly. Coming back and doing nothing but title matches. No other, gimmick matches or any other, non-title feuds she's been in. I just, again, I want something different from her besides just title matches, but I expected this. She's been gone for 14 months, whatever the heck it is. She was really the only other person I could see winning, besides maybe Jordynne Grace. But, despite all that, I did like this Rumble. Like I said, I liked some of the simple storytelling moments in the match that, made you want to see what's next. Such as, of course, Ivy Nile and Lyra, because they already teased a few for the Women's IC title. We had Maxine Dupree get her revenge on Ivy Nile. Heck, if Ivy would somehow dethrone Lyra, maybe we'd see Maxine Dupree dethrone Ivy eventually, but that's thinking a little too far out of the box. I don't know. I don't think we're going to get that far yet. I did again like the women they had in there from NXT to really showcase their NXT women's roster, which is awesome. And I also really liked, again, that moment where Bianca got kind of pissed at Naomi for butting up again with Jordynne Grace. That I liked as well, too. Alexa's return was awesome. No AJ Lee, though. I'm just starting to... That's probably the last time I'll probably get my hopes up on AJ Lee returning. I still think there is a chance she could return, yes. Especially since CM Punk and Seth Rollins are going to continue the feud going into WrestleMania. There's a good chance Becky Lynch, who surprisingly was not in this Rumble match, but maybe Becky was like, well, I'm coming back, but I don't need to be in the Rumble match. I already won the Rumble. There's no need for me to be in it. So they could, I think Triple H even said, there are some more returns in the women's division still set to come. So we could still see the return before WrestleMania. Even before Chamber, too. Like I said, if they want to do the mixed tag match at Chamber, or even at WrestleMania, cool. But I'm starting to believe that maybe AJ isn't coming back. But of all people that had a surprise with over 30, it had to be Nikki Bella. I'm just like I said, I've definitely been much more disappointed before, but again, it could be worse for that. But yes, I'm definitely very surprised we didn't see Becky Lynch, though. I'm also surprised we did see Jade Cargill as well. But like I said, we had that interesting little snippet there of Bianca not being happy with Naomi for butting up with Jordynne Grace again. I do wish Jordynne Grace would have gone to the Final Four, at least, if I'm being honest. Because I've been pitching, because Charlotte won, of course, as we know. I still think Charlotte Flair should fight Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania. Because Tiffany Stratton has mentioned in interviews that she was inspired to become a wrestler because she always liked Charlotte Flair. So that would be their first match at WrestleMania. Could be very interesting. Although I think there's a good chance Charlotte probably would win. I'd be a little shocked if she put over Tiffany this soon. But you never know. But I know a lot of people are saying they might do Charlotte and Rhea Part 3 at WrestleMania. Which I'm not opposed to that either. If they want to do a rubber match at WrestleMania. Their WrestleMania 39 match was definitely One of the best women's matches I've seen at WrestleMania personally, and of course, since I've watched being a wrestling fan for sure. But of course, that does leave who would Tiffany fight. So, I still hear rumors about Bianca versus Rhea, which, fine, but again, I still think Bianca's going to be involved with Jade Cargill. I also would only want to see Rhea versus Bianca if Bianca turned heel. But I still think they should consider doing Rhea Ripley and Jordynne Grace at WrestleMania. Now, an alternative, though, for Tiffany. This is what I was talking about before when I said that I was going to mention something about why. So I mentioned before, they seemingly teased something with Nia Jax and Trish Stratus. I thought back to over the summer when Trish appeared at Money in the Bank because they were in Toronto. And we're also going to be in Toronto actually for Chamber, right? So they could do Nia and Trish there. What if they're doing that because they do Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus at WrestleMania? Because they kind of teased the match after Tiffany won Money in the Bank last summer. Just saying, that's another alternative. But I would rather see Tiffany fight Charlotte and have Rhea fight Jordynne Grace. That's where I still think it should go. But it could change. You never know. We'll just, though, have to wait and see. Like I said, yes, Charlotte Flair's not my favorite to win this Rumble match. But I saw it coming. I figured Charlotte was going to win with it being her first match back. And, we got it. That's what we got. Charlotte Flair is your first ever 2-time Women's Royal Rumble winner. But, again, and also, of course, the other thing I really liked about this match, too, that I mentioned before, NXT women, the couple of spots there. But Roxanne Perez, for sure. Giving her that Iron Woman feel, for sure, being the runner-up, it makes you feel like that they do have big plans for her. But I think she's just about to get called up. Or again, like I said, her eliminating Julia from the Rumble could be what leads to her getting to one last title match. Maybe at Stand and Deliver, and then she'll get called up after WrestleMania. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah. Or they could do it at Vengeance Day, but I don't know. So, but yeah, we got that. We got that all going on there. But that's just the first match, and we've already talked for 42 minutes. Man, I need a drink really quick here. Well, I don't have water, but I have my Coke, but get a little bit of energy in me. Let's got 3 more matches to talk about. There's only 4 on the show. Dang it, guys. Let's check the live chat actually before we move on to the 2 non-Rumble matches that happened on the show. We got a lot going on here in the live chat. I think we were at Gaming with Nate. Thank you for joining us. It's a new one. Saying it was a great 1 hour 20 though for the men's. Oh yes. Tyler's watching some Danny Phantom. Danny Phantom. Gotta catch them all because he's Danny Phantom. Gotta catch them all. He was pretty cool. Wasn't one of the shows I watched a lot, but I didn't mind Danny Phantom. We got Lauren saying no AJ, no Randy, no Rock. Yeah, definitely no Rock. No Becky, no Mickey, even though she was in the crowd. Charlotte keeps getting plastic surgery. She was much prettier before. I thought Charlotte looked a little bit older, if I'm being honest. The wrinkles are starting to show a wee bit on the Queen, if I'm being real. Every time Charlotte comes back, she always is handed a title. We know. She mentions Punk or Cena should have won the men's. Io should have won. Naomi and Bianca attacked Jade together. Maybe, we'll see. Rumble was not... No, I'm sorry. I totally disagree. Rumble was not one of the worst. This was not a bad show. I totally disagree with that. I'm sorry. The men's, didn't really have many surprises. That's a little disappointing from the men's, but I still thought it was a great Rumble. They're planning Logan versus Cena. I'll take it, but on a B pay-per-view, don't do that at Mania. Don't do that match at WrestleMania. I know John eliminated Logan from the Rumble, but if you're going to do that match, which I'm expecting them to do it sometime this year, don't do it at WrestleMania. Cena is going to fight for the title at WrestleMania, as he should. I still think the match to do is John Cena and Cody Rhodes, by Cena winning Chamber. Spoiler alert. But if we roll in a little bit further for a second here, I guess Cena will only do important shows. I have no clue what Cena's schedule is now. He even said after in the press conference interview, he's going to be flying back to Hungary to film a movie. Is Cena going to be showing up as much as he said he was going to be for this farewell tour? Because he's already showed up just the Raw Netflix debut, and now here. I think he's got to at least show maybe like once or twice more a month, if I'm being 100% honest. Seth turned heel, which I think he did, but I'm not 100% sure at the same time also if it was a full-on turn or not. So we'll wait on that. McIntyre was pissed. I did read a report about McIntyre. We'll talk about that when we get to that elimination. Cena's final opponent should be Orton for the record of titles. I mean, maybe. I'd be okay with Cena versus Orton one last time. We haven't gotten it. I think the last time we got that one-on-one was on the go-home show before Elimination Chamber in 2017 on SmackDown. I think that's the last time we saw those two fight. One more time, though, yeah, I'll take it one last time. I know everybody's sick of it, but it's one last time. All that. Bianca versus Rhea, maybe, yeah. Alexa was missed. Nia when Kane 2001, the last part of the match. Nia has Nia eliminated more people than Kane altogether now? I don't know yet. No, the final two was Charlotte and Roxanne. If anyone who should be a two-time women's champion, Royal Rumble has to be Charlotte. And I like to see Jordan. We got Tia and Coupon as well. What's up, saying I like to see Jordan versus Rhea at Mania. Nice. And Cena will be in the chamber match. I think Cody versus Cena at Mania. I still think that is the match to do at WrestleMania for sure. But let's continue on. We still got 3 more matches to talk about, guys, and we're already 47 minutes into the stream. I need some more drink. I'm like I said, my voice is still shot from last night. Honestly, water would probably be better than Coke, but I don't need to get up right now and go back into my garage back there to get the water out of my fridge. I think I got everything there. Thank you guys also for the views too. Almost 60 views on this, 4 likes. I appreciate it. Like I said, though, when we get to the men's match, I'm sure I'm going to piss some of you guys off. And again, like I said, I'm going to try to not be disrespectful. But I'm sorry. I don't like the backlash towards the winner of the men's Rumble. But we'll talk about that, of course, when we get to it. The other 2 matches before we get to the men's Rumble match, of course. The first one was the 2 out of 3 falls match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. DIY's Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano versus the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. Raise your fist. I love that song. Absolutely love Motor City Machine Guns theme song. Of course, I still thought it was Break Your Fists, but it's Raise Your Fists. The match was treated like a cool down. It was fine for what it was. I still think, though, knowing, how talented both these teams are, I do feel like they could have put on a better match, especially 2 out of 3 falls matches. DIY, I feel like, has had a history of some really good 2 out of 3 falls match. Best one that comes to mind, in my opinion, was the one they had against the Revival, FTR now, back at TakeOver Toronto in 2016. That was definitely one of the best matches of 2016 for sure. Yeah, I kind of expected a little bit better, but it was still fine for what it was. Again, it's just when you don't have the tag titles on pay-per-view since WrestleMania, the rest of the division has been just very cold. So it's kind of like I said before in my preview. You don't want to give the titles back to Motor City Machine Guns yet, because they basically already established that, yes, they are probably the best team on the roster, but you don't want to make it look like that nobody can beat them. But also, the finish was a little confusing. Well, first off, DIY won the first fall, and then MCMG won the second fall. But then DIY won the third fall when the Street Profits returned. First time since the night that DIY turned heel, and again, it was obvious that DIY was the one who attacked them backstage before that match. And but when they came out, they attacked MCMG, which again led to DIY winning. But then after the match, the Street Profits then attacked DIY. So I'm trying to make sense of this. I'm like, wait. So you came back, you targeted MCMG, gave back the team gave the team that took you out, keep their belts, and then you attacked them? Like, unless if it's a thing where they, unless it's a thing like where they're telling a story where, you know, they would have rather, they want to take the belts off DIY because they're the ones who stole from them. So they didn't want to take the belts off MCMG. They want to take the belts off people who actually took them from them. That could maybe be the reason for the finish, but we'll see what happens. I'm assuming then that means we're probably getting the triple threat between these three at Mania. I don't know. Maybe they'll do that Chamber. Who knows? There's just too many titles. I don't think you can fit all of them at WrestleMania. I'm just being serious when I say that. I don't think you can fit all 11 main roster championships at WrestleMania. You can't. So there's obviously some that probably aren't going to make the cut for WrestleMania. But that was that match. Following that, we had the Undisputed WWE Championship ladder match. Cody Rhodes carrying the actual title, and Kevin Owens, who has hoarded the Winged Eagle Championship. So these two had a phenomenal match, I thought, at Bash in Berlin last year. I said what makes these two work so well, besides the fact that they're really good friends in real life, is the fact that they're two people who truly, truly love the art of wrestling. And two people like that can put on some excellent matches. Like I said, I really love their Bash in Berlin match. So many great near falls there. And even, of course, the storytelling there where Kevin Owens had the chance to go back to his old ways to beat Cody, and he didn't. But now, obviously, he's a heel, but a justified heel, so it all worked differently there. And these two, again, beat the crap out of each other with the ladders. I thought this was brutal. I also liked, especially how they started teasing it on Raw this week, how like Kevin Owens like kind of driven Cody into this like psycho side where people say it's like when he was the unhinged, undashing Cody Rhodes. Basically like trying to tell a story that the pressure of him being the guy is kind of starting to get to him. And like all the other trauma that Kevin Owens has put him through for the past, October, November, December, like 4 or 5 months, all the trauma he's done, and all, of course, the damage he's done with the package pile drivers, taking out Orton, which Lauren mentioned. Orton, by the way, yes, I am a little surprised Orton didn't show up either this match or in the men's Rumble either. I didn't think of that actually in my predictions. But again, I still thought they should have given Owens the belt at Saturday night's main event. Just with how good this heel character and how justified it was for Kevin Owens. I was like, you got to put the belt on this guy. You really got to put the belt on this. This is some of the best work I've seen from Kevin Owens. But, of course, it didn't happen. But there's still some crazy bump spots. I love the comedy I was kind of used a little bit with like the little tiny ladder. Owens did like climb up the tiny ladder, joking he was going to do like a frog splash off of it. Bring us back to like WLC or whatnot at the time too. Cody also actually broke off, like he pulled an Edge. Like remember when Edge used to like, I think he still does it at AEW sometimes too, stomps on like the leg of the chair and uses it to do like, you know, the STF chokehold. Well, he kind of did that with Kevin Owens, except this time he broke off a bottom step on the ladder. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of different. Crazy spots, especially that spinning neck breaker that Owens hit on Cody into the ladder as well. Of course, later in the match, after that spot, they had Sami Zayn come out. And again, I was wondering, like, okay, could Sami turn on Kevin? Or could maybe Sami turn on Cody? And when Sami showed up, I'm like, uh-oh. So he was checking on both men. Obviously, you know, when Kevin, of course, was getting beat down pretty bad, especially after Cody hit that crazy Alabama slam on Owens, which Owens was busted open, by the way, in this match, too. After, I think, Cody was slamming him and just went all psycho on him into the announce table. Which also, I forgot to mention, too, in the tag match, Tommaso Ciampa also got busted open, too. So we saw a little bit of blood on this show, too. But that Alabama slam, because Owens did tease the package pile driver on Cody. And I like, though, that he didn't hit it and still lost. I like that they protected that move. I appreciate that. But again, I just still wish Owens just would have had the title, even if it was just for this past month and he dropped it back to Cody here. Just at least some sort of capitalization, some sort of reward for this heel character for sure. But the Alabama slam, Cody Rhodes does climb back in and grabs the titles, although there was a referee who went in there and held the ladder for Cody when he got to the top, I guess. I don't know, it was strange, but yeah, Cody does retain, as I expected. Sami Zayn, though, remained neutral. He checked on Cody, he checked on Kevin, and when Kevin went to the Alabama slam, he stayed by his side. So this idea where they have maybe have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at WrestleMania is still possible, but is Owens going to be mad that Sami didn't stop Cody, or is he going to be like still appreciative that Sami still came out and was by his side? We'll have to wait and see where that goes. But I thought there was some very crazy spots. Again, like you watch a match like this, and especially when it comes with two guys who you know love professional wrestling. And when that happens, you just see magic. And there was just a ton of magic for sure in this match. But Cody Rhodes is still undisputed WWE champion. So he's going on to WrestleMania to fight John Cena, but we'll see how that goes. But we finally are getting to the main event. And actually, I hate to do this, guys. I'm going to put it on pause for a second. I do want to go grab a bottle of water out of my refrigerator out there in the garage because I could really use it, especially with what I have to say about this men's Rumble match. So, I'll be right back. Stay tuned shortly. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. Let's get a quick drink of water in here. Alright. Let's stretch out here. Because we got one more Rumble match to talk about in this main event. I got a lot to say. I got a little bit of a rant. But not on the match itself. From the response. From the crowd. Well, not from the crowd. From the fans. From the trolls. And several others. But again, I'll rant, but I may piss some people off. But let's check the live chat actually one more time before we go to on to the main event. I think we were right here. When Tyler said Owens should go to Raw now, he may very well to keep away from Cody. Happy that most machine guns are in WWE. Enjoy them in TNA wrestling. I do think they're getting a lot of fun for sure. So yes, I do like them. We're 1 month away from 2K25 already. Nice. And could they finish in the tag title match lead to a TLC match for that triple threat? Ooh. We just had a ladder match, believe it or not. I'm for TLC. When was the last TLC match we've had, actually? I can't remember the last TLC match we had. Brutal ladder match, Cody versus KO, giving both men credits. WWE should let KO rest for a month. May need to after, what happened there. But yeah, I'd still say probably... Kevin and Sammy is still probably the match at WrestleMania. Or I even also thought, what if they did Kevin Owens and Nick Aldis? But I don't know if they're going to do that. I doubt they're going to do that. But, anyways. But yeah, main event time. The men's Royal Rumble match. There was already 19 confirmed entrants going into this match. Before I started, I found it very intriguing that they saved most of the big men's names for later, for the second half of the match. Because you look at this first half, like you had Braun Breaker, Jacob Fatu. It was until number 16 when the first real threat to one of the bigger threats to win entered, when Roman came in at number 16. There was also a lot of earlier eliminations in this match. The longest anyone was in this match for was Penta at 42 minutes and 5 seconds. And then only Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and John Cena were in the match for over a half hour. And then Drew McIntyre, Rey Mysterio, Jacob Fatu, Braun Breaker, Chad Gable, and AJ Styles were in this match for over 20 minutes. Punk and Rollins were just under 20 minutes, by the way. But yeah, so this Rumble match started off with a teased dream match. Rey Mysterio came out at number 1. Number 2 was Penta. And I'm like, ooh, they could do this at WrestleMania if they really wanted to. And of course, the crowd was, going ape shit. Was definitely very hyped for it. The two of them, of course, showed a sign of respect, but then, of course, went to war. And then, of course, the match just continued on. Funny enough, number 3 was a man who's trying to figure out how to beat Lucha Libres, and that's American Maids leader Chad Gable. He came out at number 3. Number 4, though, had a little bit of help because Carmelo Hayes came out at number 4, entering his second Rumble, his first, though, as official member of the main roster. He came out, and it was kind of 2-on-2 for a bit. Number 5 was Santos Escobar. They kind of gave Santos quite a bit for just being there for a couple minutes, because He immediately reignited his feud with Ray. I know so far it's nothing but basically luchadors and, people who despise them, I guess. I don't know if that's the story for both. Well, more so for Gable, not so much for Carmelo Hayes. He's just cocky and whatnot. But, yeah, Santos, went after, Ray for the couple minutes he was in this match. Number 6 was Otis. And he came out, and I think they immediately just revisited him and Chad. So I don't know if there is. I mean, I think they did have a match on Raw. I don't know if they ever will have a 100% blow-off pay-per-view match that they probably should have had last year. But he came out Otis number 6. Number 7 was Braun Breaker. He went in there, and the first thing he did was speared the hell out of Carmelo Hayes. Tossed him overboard. Hayes was the first person eliminated. Then I believe he did the same thing to Santos Escobar. And Santos got eliminated. So already I'm like, okay. Is Braun going to be the one that kind of has the I didn't win, but I was one of the best parts of the Rumble like he was last year when he replaced Brock? But he had 2 eliminations right there off the bat. So we have to entry number 8. Number 8 was supposed to be Akira Tozawa. But, of course, as he's coming out of frustration, Carmelo Hayes attacked him on the ramp. They took him backstage, and Triple H was like, oh, I gotta get a replacement for him. I'm not gonna lie, and part of me thought, what if The Rock came out here? But I should have known better, because I thought they may have done something with him in the Rumble based off of a recent, segment or two they've shown, backstage with Triple H on the phone with them. But who happened to be backstage but iShowSpeed? Yep, Triple H sent iShowSpeed into the Rumble match to replace Akira Tozawa. And he got in there, and that son of a gun helped Braun Breaker eliminate Otis. And of course, afterwards, he thinks him and Braun are cool. As he's gloating though, Braun starts running back and forth, hitting the ropes, and then he sold the hell out of a spear. Braun literally, he could have speared him and launched him across the ring. It reminded me a lot. It made me think I was watching Keith Lee pounce Adam Cole into the crowd again, like he did in 2019. But then of course Braun didn't eliminate iShowSpeed, so I didn't care about you anyway. So goodbye. Number 9 was Sheamus. Number 10 was Big Jim Uso. Number 11 was Andrade. Number 12, Jacob Fatu. Now, Jacob Fatu is someone I thought he could be someone else who kind of dominates the Rumble, but doesn't win it as well. He did, but I felt like they could have given him maybe a little bit more time in this match. Done a few more eliminations maybe, but they had some good teases in there for sure. But he would eliminate Chad Gable, Rey Mysterio, and Andrade pretty quickly. And then out came number 13, which was Ludwig Kaiser, who ran to the ring like he was actually going to get in, but then took his time for a minute. And then he would slide in, but then he got eliminated by Penta pretty quickly. So that was quick by Ludwig, but he was out quickly there for number 13. Number 14 was The Miz. And then came number 15. Then came number 15, which was right before, if you saw my live reaction, saw the little clip I shared, this was the same number where Cody Rhodes won last year. Of course, this number 15 didn't win this year, But it still was a huge surprise. Because number 15. Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. You saw at the time it was just Dan and I. We lost it. I said, and spoiler alert, Joe Hendry was basically the only non-WWE main roster star that was in this match. There was no NXT stars. I was very surprised by that. I thought, if any, we were at least going to see Trick Williams. We didn't see Trick Williams, which I was very surprised about. But hey, like I said, the one person I said you have to throw in the Rumble match is Joe Hendry. And they in fact did. They brought out Joe Hendry at number 15. He wasn't in there as long as I had hoped. He was only in there for like 3 minutes. But, you know, it was fun. It was a nice pop. Can I pitch an idea? So, there's this TNA partnership going on with WWE and TNA right now, right? I was thinking, since Joe Hendry really is still that popular right now, and there is that partnership, why don't we make a little bit of history here? Let's do something like simple. Simple, though. Because I thought of it, because Joe Hendry spent most of his time fighting The Miz whenever he was in this match. And I thought to myself, you know, if they wanted another starter feud, which I know it happened with LA Knight when his true push began, I thought you could start off with Joe Hendry versus The Miz. And I thought, what if The Miz does like a Miz TV segment at WrestleMania with an unknown guest? And that guest is Joe Hendry. And they end up having just a brief match. And they could say it's for the TNA title. And Joe retains. You know, it's a partnership and Joe Hendry's popular. If he got a big pop with 70,000, imagine what you would get at Allegiant Stadium. I think they should consider it. Having like Miz TV at WrestleMania. Joe Hendry appears as a surprise guest. And him and Miz do like a quick impromptu match for the TNA title. What do you guys think? I actually think that would be nice to have in there. But yes, I definitely was very happy to see Joe Hendry. I wish he would have lasted longer, but it was very nice to see him, and the pop he got was excellent. Number 16 was Roman Reigns. This is the first time in 5 years Roman Reigns has been in the Rumble match. Last one was in 2020 when he was runner-up to Drew McIntyre when he won it. But Roman came in there and he just started cleaning house. He eliminated The Miz. He would eliminate Sheamus. Joe Hendry tried to get a little bit of offense on him, but Roman said nope, speared him and eliminated him. Braun Breaker, though, got a spear in on Roman, though, before Roman turned it around, and I think he speared him, or he just tossed him out. But Roman eliminated Braun, but Braun still got a nice spear on Roman. That's a dream match also right there. Braun and Roman, ooh, that'd be great. And then Jacob fought too, that eliminated Jimmy. So they both basically cleaned house. There wasn't a lot of people left. And then we had, I think at this time, I think it was just Roman, Roman, Jacob, and Penta, I gotta say. I think that's all we had. I think there was a spot in the match also. I think it was a little bit later on, though. Because I think it was on Finn. Where Roman just kind of looked at Penta. He's like, come on. Toss him up in the air. I think he was trying to toss him over. But he basically did just so Penta could go up and do the double knees into Finn, I think it was. But that was a random spot there. But Roman came out there and just wrecked shop. I believe that was his only 4 eliminations he had. From what I can remember, I'm not sure. Number 17 was Drew McIntyre. And of course, him and Roman are just barking at each other as Drew goes down the ramp. And they went at it. Number 18 was Finn Balor, didn't even recognize it was going to be him because I still don't recognize Judgment Day's new theme song. I missed the other side, but whatever. Number 19 was the United States Champion Shinsuke Nakamura. He wasn't in there too long, though. Penta, of course, would then get eliminated, though, by Finn Balor. So Penta was gone, but again, he was in there for 42 minutes. That was the longest out of anyone in this year's Men's Rumble match. Number 20 was Yeet! Jey Uso. Main event Jey Uso came out at number 20, and the crowd, of course, was hot for him. Hot as hell. And he would eliminate Shinsuke Nakamura. Which, by the way, I saw on SmackDown, there was a tease with Jimmy backstage when he was walking to the ring, getting ready for his match with Carmelo Hayes on SmackDown. Did you notice that Shinsuke was kind of like, drifting in the background, kind of eyeing up Jimmy? What if they did Jimmy Uso and Shinsuke Nakamura for the U.S. title at WrestleMania? It gave Jimmy his first singles title. I'd actually be okay with that. They are giving Jimmy a lot more of a personality and whatnot right now. So I feel like, if they wanted to put a mid-card title on him, they could. So like I said, if they want to do him and Shinsuke at WrestleMania, go for it. But yeah, so Shinsuke got eliminated by Jey. Number 21, like I said, in the women's match, it was a return number. It was also one here too. AJ Styles, with his old theme song too, made his return. He was last seen, I believe, in October, when he originally returned after he had not been seen since he lost his I Quit match to Cody Rhodes. And was that not Backlash? Money in the Bank? Was it Money? No, it was Clash of the Castle. I think they had the I Quit match. Yeah, that's correct, because Cody fought in the 6-man tag match at Money in the Bank. But yeah, AJ's back, looking great, although we all know that he's definitely winding down, but he looked great. Good to see him back, though, after that injury he suffered from his last return. But he came number 21. Number 22 was Braun Strowman. And this is the first time we saw Braun Strowman, of course, since Saturday night's main event, I believe, when Jacob Fatu destroyed him. So he came in, got his revenge, and he eliminated Jacob Fatu. So I guess that feud's continuing, although they did seemingly tease maybe an upcoming one-on-one match with Jacob Fatu and Damian Priest. Maybe? We'll see. But then the names just got bigger and bigger. Number 23 was John Cena. He went in there, and of course, he didn't even have his shirt off yet. Of course, he got emotional on that ramp, holding up the Last Time Is Now towel. He would eliminate Braun Strowman and Finn Balor. So those were the first 2 of 3 eliminations Cena had. Number 24, though. Again, I think at this moment, Cena and Roman had a kind of a stare down. Then number 24 happened. And it was CM Punk. Punk, though, kind of took his time, though, getting to the ring. Got in there, and the 3 of them kind of had like a stare down. Because, obviously, all 3 of them have history. And are 3 of the biggest names in the industry. And I like how they did this, but Punk took so much time. By the time he got to the ring, it was already ready for number 25. Which number 25 was Seth Rollins. But Seth didn't take his time. He came out and went right after Punk. They started brawling. Cena and Roman started brawling. AJ and maybe Jay or whoever else was still left in the match at the time. They started brawling. So Seth just basically lit the fire again. And everybody's like, okay, enough of admiring these big names. Let's just move on, basically, to that there. So that happened there. Number 26 was Dominic Mysterio. And I'm like, Dom, you're doomed. Number 27 was Sami Zayn. Sammy, of course, did some haluva kicks when he got in there. Even when he literally saw Seth, he's like, whatever. Haluva kicked Seth. He didn't, though, haluva kick Roman Reigns, though. Yeah, he did not haluva kick Roman Reigns. He helped Roman Reigns up. He supported Roman, which I'm sure is not going to sit very well at all with Seth, especially after what happened later in the match. Number 28 was Damian Priest. And he would get, of course, his final revenge on Dominic Mysterio. As, again, Damian's moved over to SmackDown, so he's finally far away from Judgment Day. Thank God. I couldn't take that feud anymore. It just went on way too long. And Judgment Day in general just needs to disband. Just saying. Number 29, entering his first Royal Rumble was L.A. Knight. Yeah! And an interesting spot happened, though, in between the last two entrants. Jey Uso accidentally super kicked Sami Zayn off the apron and eliminated him. Will that play into a storyline? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Sami, who has seemingly been accidentally kicking people, he now accidentally gets kicked by one of his buddies. So, I don't know where that's going, but that made things quite interesting there for sure. And then number 30 was Logan Paul. We knew he was already going to be in the Rumble, but he came out number 30. But then we had Drew McIntyre then get eliminated by Damian Priest. And of course we saw the look on Drew's face when he got eliminated. But there's reports going around that wasn't supposed to be Drew's elimination. I don't know if it was Damian or if it was someone else. But I guess when apparently rumors have it, when Drew went backstage, he got to live a beef with Triple H, saying that somebody in the match was trying to get their moves in. And basically said him getting eliminated was not supposed to happen when it did. And they were basically going into business for themselves. Which, again, could possibly mean that was Damian Priest. Because he's the one who eliminated him. I don't know. Could someone else have been like an accomplice while in the match? I don't know, but a little bit of drama there. So I don't know, what's going to happen with that, but I'm sure Drew McIntyre, I'm sure is not very happy. LA Knight, though, would eliminate Priest shortly after that. And AJ Styles, I guess, kind of renewing his rivalry last year with him, would eliminate LA Knight. And then there was this spot where Logan Paul was on the apron. People were trying to push him off to get him eliminated, which I wanted to do so bad. But, of course, Logan thinks he's a genius. Pretty much is. Jumps off the apron and lands onto the announce table, which somehow did not break. Of course, he was able, to work his way back over and jump onto the barricade and then onto the steel steps to save himself from getting eliminated. And he sneaks up right behind AJ Styles as he was about to do a phenomenal forearm and yank Styles out of the match, which I think could be a possible tease. And maybe we'll get... I know someone said they're doing Cena and Logan at Mania. I don't want that match at Mania. Again, do Cena and Cody at WrestleMania. But if they need a match for Logan, I'm cool with doing him versus AJ Styles. Although it may not be likely, though, because AJ's technically still on SmackDown and Logan moved over to Raw, unless they're going to change that up with AJ as well. I don't know. But that's a possibility there too. Or they could be doing something else with Logan. We'll get to that in a second. But anyways, after that happens, we then have everybody down. Except for two men who were brothers. They've turned on each other. And last year, Seth Rollins is probably the main reason why this guy still doesn't have his title. But Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins had like a cinematic stare down. and they just start barking at each other. They kind of went over their history a little bit too. Like Indianapolis is where the Shield first debuted. It's where the Shield broke up. It's where the Shield reunited. But obviously, that's, all in the past now. And then they start to brawl. They start to fight. Well, then, as they're fighting by the ropes, you see CM Punk eye them both up from behind. And I'm like, is he going to do what I think he's going to do? And sure enough, he did. Punk ran over, and he eliminated at the same time Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Eliminating both of them at the same time. I'm like, oh God, Seth's not going to like that. So then the final four is CM Punk, John Cena, Logan Paul, and Jey Uso. And first, then Logan Paul eliminates CM Punk. Yeah, Logan Paul eliminates CM Punk. I saw that, I'm like, yay. Really? Of all people to get Punk out of this match, it had to be Logan Paul. Which I guess at some point we're going to get a CM Punk and Logan Paul match, but don't do that for Mania because obviously Punk has other plans. But then after that elimination, Seth Rollins, which I think Roman was outside, and I think he said something to Punk like, after we teamed up a month ago. And then you see Seth Rollins just behind him, and he snaps. This may have been the official heel turn for Seth, I don't know. But he basically flies in, double stomps Roman's head onto the floor, and just dives on the Punk. And the two of them go at it brawling. Rollins even was targeted Heyman too. He gave Heyman the finger. And then while Roman was trying to get back up, Rollins curb stomped Roman's head on top of the steps. And then, of course, it looked like Punk got pissed at Heyman as well, too. So, interesting development there. Like, it looked like they finally went full-on heel with Seth. I'm not 100% sure yet, though, so I am going to wait and see what happens before I do a turn alert there. But a little confused because, although, yes, obviously, I felt we should get Seth Rollins and CM Punk at WrestleMania, even though we had on the Raw Netflix premiere. Now, I guess Roman's kind of involved. What they're going to do exactly, I don't know, but I guess there's no Roman and Rock either because no Rock showed up. But yeah, that kind of leaves Roman a little directionless, though. Leaves me very surprised. But yeah, I thought that was some crazy chaos that happened there with that. And yeah, I was just definitely, surprised to see that kind of happened. Like, again, that double stomp, though, he did on Roman's head, though, on the mat was just not even anywhere forgiving at all whatsoever. That was great. But, I don't know. Could it be a triple threat? It just feels so little thrown together that's the case. But, like, I feel like if there is, like, a multi-man match, I still wanted to see, I still think at some point we should get CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre a triple threat. But, hey, I'll take Punk, Rollins, and Reigns in a triple threat, but it just feels like a little bit thrown together, if I'm being honest. But we also still have Punk saying that Heyman owes him a favor. So whatever that favor may be, I don't know. But back to the match. We get down to the final three. And then I notice it's Jey Uso, John Cena, and Logan Paul. And I'm pretty sure I remember my safe pick I thought was CM Punk. Because, of course, I had I had my reasons for why I felt Cena shouldn't win the Rumble. So when they came down to those final three, I'm rooting for Jay. And then John gets Logan out of there. Thank goodness. So it gets down to John Cena and Jey Uso. Now, in any other situation, I would have felt very, very confident that Cena was winning this. But something was giving me this itch. I had the same itch when Roxanne was the last one standing with Charlotte. Of course, they didn't last too long. But I'm like, could they maybe pull the trigger on Jay? They had back and forths. Some very close eliminations, especially on that apron. And then you see John Cena. Well, of course, after he got his 5 moves of Doom. They were on the apron. I remember Jay super kicked Cena, and he barely hung on by a heel of his ankle. I thought that was it. And then when Cena had Jay up for the AA on the apron, I'm like, here we go. John's going to win it. I would prefer him not to win it, but he's going to win it. But no. Jey Uso jumped off Cena's back, got back inside the ring, and before I could even, register that even happened, Cena's feet were on the floor. And Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso, wins the 2025 Men's Rumble. Not a favorite. Definitely was not teased as a favorite to win it. Okay, I think my microphone's working again. My microphone went out. Tia Coupon, or whoever else is in the live chat, can you guys tell me what the last thing you remember me saying was? Because my microphone just went out and I didn't even notice it till now. So, give them a second to let me know what was the last thing I said. Can you hear me now? Okay, yeah. What was the last thing that you heard me say? If you don't mind me asking. Let me get a quick drink of water, because this is where I get into my rant. Cena 2 feet on the floor. Okay, so basically right when Cena gets eliminated. Thank you, Tian Couponer. So Cena gets eliminated and Jey Uso wins the Rumble. And then, of course, before I get into the rant, afterwards, John gets into the ring. He kind of picks Jay up like, get your ass up. And I'm just like, uh-oh. Like, is that... I've mentioned the possibility of what if they would pull the heel turn on John Cena. And they teased it for a second. But then John, being John, just gives Jay the correct Uso, as he basically referred to him as last year, whenever he told Jimmy that the wrong Uso quit, and gave him this hug and just endorsed him for getting the victory. John Cena accepted, the defeat. Main event Jey Uso's going to WrestleMania for a world title shot. Let me start by saying this. I am beyond happy for Jey Uso. Beyond happy for this guy. This is somebody who was probably never supposed to get this top spot. It kind of happened by accident, if I'm being real. He got the match with Roman Reigns when he feuded with Roman, which was kind of more of like a character development feud when Roman first got the title back in 2020. And Jay just took the opportunity and just showed, hey, I could be in the main event scene too. And for the longest time, I thought he was just going to be someone who just makes people in the main event scene look good. Don't ever see him really getting much single success. Well, then, of course, they had him pin Roman in the Bloodline Civil War. And then he actually feuded again with Roman for the title at SummerSlam. Of course, came up short there. Went over to Raw. And has done his own thing since. And especially within this past year, with the whole Yeet thing becoming more popular, the entrance itself as well. Like, you go back to Backlash in France. The first time he entered through the crowd, and with how loud that place was to begin with, the Yeet lights and everything, like, you knew you had something special. This is a man you had to capitalize on at some point. Give him King of the Ring? Didn't happen then. They gave him a very, very brief cup of coffee with the IC title. I appreciate that. Kind of give the tease of like, okay, we see this guy, but not yet. And then at the Rumble last night, even though he just lost to Gunther last week at Saturday Night's main event, this was that moment, that stapling moment where the WWE saying, yes, we got main event Jey Uso. We hear you, and now here you go. Here's his shot. Yes, he's had a few matches for the world title, but this is where we tell you we're more serious about him than we thought. Jey Uso, more than ever, deserved this victory. I know he was not favored to win this, but Jey Uso was not a mistake to win this Rumble match. And this is where I get into my rant, because this frustrated me so much. Going on Twitter, any social media platform, I've seen people saying that Jey Uso winning this Rumble was a mistake. It was a worst case scenario, and that he's just being shoved down our throats. Listen up here. Listen up here. If Jey Uso was being shoved down our throats, why are people still, very into his entrance? Why didn't people boo Jey Uso whenever he, at Survivor Series this past year, at Survivor Series, Jey Uso, yes, he was the number one entrant into the War Games match at Survivor Series. But usually the team captain is the last person to come out, right? Well, Jey Uso got that spot instead at Survivor Series. He came out last before he entered the War Games match. So that's Triple H listening to the fans, acknowledging that this man is hot, and we're giving him like the spotlights he deserves and needs, and a few other things. So we're all just begging WWE to find a spot at the top to capitalize on just how popular and how over Jey Uso is. This is 2014 Daniel Bryan popularity. And you're going to diss on Jey Uso for winning the Royal Rumble match over, of all people, John Cena? Listen, if there was more people saying that Punk should have won this, I understand completely. I really do. Trust me. I want to see CM Punk get that main event spot at WrestleMania. He probably would have had it last year with Seth Rollins. Had CM Punk would have not been hurt, we would have had CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. We would not have had that tag match with Seth, Cody, and The Rock, and Roman. Maybe, I don't know. Things could have changed. I don't know. Who the heck knows? But I also know that CM Punk does recognize when other talent should be in that spot. Because he even said in 2014 that it baffles him that they weren't considering first putting Daniel Bryan in that main event spot. They're going to give it to Batista and Randy Orton, which was not a good idea. He said it should have been Daniel Bryan. Even though he wanted it to be him, he also knew that the fans wanted Daniel Bryan. So, now you have this. And then let me preface this again. So, my reason for not wanting John Cena to win the Rumble was because they're continuing to play into the storyline that Cena hasn't won a match since 2018. And they've mentioned it a lot since Cena returned in 2023 and feuded with the Bloodline. So why would you then have him come back and just win everything with no story? And it would be the same old John Cena. Like, no offense, that's not going to be a very entertaining retirement tour. I know there are the Super Cena fans out there who, are going to love him no matter what. And I respect that. But would you also at least want something memorable for him to go out on? So you gotta tell a story. You gotta dig in more in the story of Cena hasn't won a match, and he's gonna get more and more desperate, knowing his chances are running out. I'm pretty sure he planned on being inside the chamber anyways. So he didn't need this Rumble victory. He didn't. He could get to Cody Rhodes through the Elimination Chamber. I think Cena's going to win Chamber, and he'll fight Cody at WrestleMania. Jay's going to fight Gunther. Yes, they fought already many times, but hey, there's a story there. Jay has struggled to beat Gunther a few times in the past. Maybe this time he'll finally get that victory. This could be like not only could it be like a last chance thing, like if you want to make it similar to how it was with like Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville at our Evolution, you could do that. I even thought, I know we just had a match like that on the show, but what if they did 2 out of 3 falls? 2 out of 3 falls between Gunther and Jey Uso, just so Jey can prove he can beat Gunther not once, but twice. Just saying, you can do that there as well. But people are getting upset over Jey Uso winning over John Cena? Like, to me, again, like I said before, if John Cena just gets booked as typical John Cena we've had for how many years for the rest of this year, I'm sure fans would be left disappointed. So, you're either going to complain then, but then someone like Jey Uso, who was never supposed to be in this spot to begin with, finally gets his flowers, and you're just going to shit on him for having this moment because John Cena did win the Rumble? Like, that's where I say, what actually makes you happy then? Like, seriously, it's like, why can't people be happy for someone like Jay, who was never supposed to be there in the first place, that we wanted to see him get up there, and when he finally gets that moment, we crap on it? I'm sorry. That all just pissed me off. That's why I went all out on Twitter today and retweeted as many positive things about Jey Uso. Because the guy deserves a love. Like, he had his video of him winning the Rumble match on YouTube, 12,000 likes, 16,000 dislikes. That's like up there with Rock taking Cody's spot in Mania last year originally. Like, I saw that, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, sometimes I really want to ask fans, and again, that's my opinion, but it's like, if you can get mad about Jey Uso winning a Rumble match over John Cena, then it's like, no offense, what do you really want? Because you don't want same old Cena, but you also all of a sudden don't want Jey Uso beating him either? Like, Jey Uso should not be getting any backlash for this. That just frustrates me. Again, I'm happy for Jey. Yes, I know. I'll say this about one thing, though, that bothers me. They need to stop advertising saying that the winner of the Royal Rumble match gets to main event WrestleMania. Because the only thing it actually guarantees is a title match at WrestleMania, not the main event of WrestleMania. So that I can see there too. And yes, it's probably going to be playing secondary to Cody and Cena. But still, Jay is finally, we hear WWE finally saying, okay, we're all in now on giving the main event scene to Jey Uso. This was a stable showing that we're taking another step with Jey Uso here. And him winning this Rumble victory is completely awesome. It's one of the best upsets I have personally seen. I'm fully behind it. If you're not, then again, I respect it. But again, it's just a little frustrating because it's like, okay, you've complained about Cena being same old all these years, yet Jey Uso wins a Rumble match over same old John Cena, and you're now saying Jey Uso's crap? Like, that's total BS. I'm sorry. I totally disagree with that, and Jey does not deserve any of this backlash. I'm sure I pissed a lot of people off with that comment, but I just had to get that out there. That's my honest opinion though of that. That's what I gotta say. But yeah, Jey Uso, all the hard work he's done, should not be getting any backlash from this Rumble victory. He shouldn't. Of course, here's the thing. If Vince is still in charge and he saw this, he'd be pulling Jey from the spot. And that would make me even more angrier. But thank goodness, I'm pretty sure Triple H will not do that. Maybe give Jey Uso and Ludwig Kaiser a pay-per-view match like Chamber or something like that. Just so you know, again, kind of give Ludwig a little bit more of a showcase. Give Jey another big victory before WrestleMania. And hopefully see Jey Uso win the title at WrestleMania. So, I'm for it. I love the surprise. So yeah, I had no problem with it. The men's Rumble match, like I said, I thought was great. Especially, I thought it was interesting how they kept most of the big names in the last part, in the second half of the match. I know there wasn't too many surprises, but the star power was in there. Things were kept interesting. I don't know what's going on with Roman Reigns. I also forgot to mention there was the botch at the beginning where it looked like Penta's feet did touch the floor. That first attempt, him and Ray tried to throw each other out. But it didn't really matter. He was still, in there for 42 minutes. He got eliminated like around 18 or 19 for how many people were in the match at the time. I don't remember. But I still thought it was a very fun Rumble. And a great show altogether. Alright guys, I've talked for almost 2 hours. I didn't expect to go this long. But let's check the live chat before I go off the air. I gave this show a B+. I gave the men's Rumble match an A-, the women's a B. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Let me check this and I'm going to bed. I'm going upstairs and going to bed. I am beat. Tia Couponer says, I like to see Penta versus Dirty Dom. Want to see Fatu versus Breaker down the road. Yes, they teased that match too. Braun Breaker, Jacob Fatu. That's a future WrestleMania main event right there. No ifs, ands, or buts. Those two are going to be the guys someday. Very soon. iShowSpeed got speared out of his poots by Braun Breaker. Was funny as hell for sure. I don't know why, but I want to see Hendry versus Cena retires. Ooh! Joe Hendry versus John Cena. I'd love to see that match. We'd be pretty good. I'll take that one. Interesting idea for Mania. Probably my Joe Hendry idea. I thought Roman would win the Rumble so that Punk would collect his favor. Could have played some off that maybe, for sure. If the Usos both win singles titles at night 1 of Mania, to end night 1, Usos hugging like Eddie and Benoit did, that would be awesome. And like I said earlier, they teased Shinsuke eyeing up Jimmy on SmackDown this past week, so it could happen. You never know. Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny for WrestleMania. I'd be okay with that if they did it. I kind of want to see Logan versus AJ now, but again, they're on separate brands. Unless AJ was over the Raw in the transfer window, but we'll see. Reigns versus Punk versus Rollins in the triple threat match. We'll see if that happens. Never thought Jay would win, but I'm happy for him. Rooting for him to beat Gunther at Mania. Exactly. Like I said, yes, people probably wanted Cena to win this, but like I said, Cena not winning this has made things more interesting for him. And plus, too, he announced on that post-show interview he was going to be in Chamber. He is starting to see his chances are running out, and he's getting desperate. Like I said, that could lead to a John Cena heel turn because he's more desperate to get that 17th world title than he thought. So him not winning the Rumble is going to tell a better story. Which again is why you shouldn't be hating on Jey Uso for winning over John Cena. The backlash was insane, yes. I think Jey has earned the spot. He has. Tyler says anyone who should have last eliminated Cena is AJ. They could do that match one-on-one again one more time as well, too. But yeah. But guys, I'm going to call it tonight. I've been here for almost 2 hours. Didn't expect it to be that long, but I thank you guys all for being here and being patient. That's my review of Royal Rumble 2025. Give it a B+. I'll see you guys next time, wherever it may be. Slap a like on the video. Subscribe to our content on my channel. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Follow me on Twitter as well, to Club with the Man 93, and on Instagram, Club with the Man 1993. Guys, once again, Jey Uso does not deserve any hate for this win. He's earned it. He's deserved it. And I wish more people would respect that and not just be difficult to satisfy. So, guys, I'm checking out. I'll see you guys all later. Have a good night. Have a great start to your week. Do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. Hope next time as well, I get my voice back. And that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah. Good night, everybody. I couldn't do my effective yeah, but yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Good night, everybody. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.